Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. If you're an Agile practitioner, maybe you're a Scrum Master, a release train engineer, or a technical project manager, you already know that interviews can feel, well, exactly like navigating a minefield. You're constantly expected to know exactly how to handle dozens of highly specific, high-pressure scenarios. So today, we're completely cracking the Agile interview code. We're looking at a master guide derived from a massive set of 30 universal Agile interview questions. But listen, instead of trying to memorize 30 individual disconnected answers, which is practically impossible anyway, we're going to focus on the universal patterns behind them. We're going to transform all that complex technical jargon into clear, relatable analogies that absolutely prove you haven't just memorized the framework, but you've actually mastered it.
Okay, let's dive right into our agenda. We've got 5 key parts today. 1, Scrum theory. 2, scaling with SAFe. 3, TPM delivery. 4, scenarios. And 5, the winning formula. Let's kick things off with Section 1, Mastering Scrum Theory, the building blocks.
Now, if an interviewer asks you to compare Agile and traditional waterfall, whatever you do, don't just give them a dry textbook definition. Use a simple, everyday analogy. Tell them that waterfall is kind of like ordering a custom-built house from a massive set of blueprints. You literally can't live in it until the entire house is 100% finished. Agile, on the other hand, is iterative. It's like building that exact same house, but room by room. You can move into the bedroom and the kitchen first. And if you realize, hey, I actually want the living room to be bigger, well, you can still change the plan before it's even built.
Okay, before you can effectively guide any team, you absolutely have to define the 3 main artifacts that make the team's progress completely visible to stakeholders. Because really, total transparency is the absolute goal here. You have the product backlog, the sprint backlog, and the increment. But again, how do you explain this in a way that actually sticks in an interviewer's mind?
Well, think of your favorite restaurant. This is a fantastic way to translate technical jargon into an unforgettable scenario. The product backlog, that's the entire menu, literally everything we could possibly build. The sprint backlog is the specific order ticket the chef is working on right this very second. It's what we committed to delivering this sprint. And the increment, that is the fully cooked, beautifully plated meal served directly to the customer. It's usable working software.
Moving right along to Section 2, Scaling Up with SAFe, the enterprise view.
In the Scaled Agile framework, or SAFe, the heartbeat of delivery isn't just a single, isolated team. It's the Agile release train, commonly called the ART. This is a long-lived, self-organizing team of Agile teams. We're usually talking about 50 to 125 people who all plan, commit, and deploy solutions together.
If you really want to impress an interviewer, use an analogy to perfectly explain why massive enterprises actually need a framework like SAFe in the first place. Think of it like this. If a single Scrum team is a highly maneuverable, fast speedboat, SAFe is the system used to coordinate an entire fleet of those speedboats. It makes sure they're all navigating in the exact same direction toward the business strategy, without crashing into each other.
So, the crucial takeaway here is understanding the distinct scale and coordination required when discussing features versus capabilities in a SAFe environment. A feature is sized to be delivered by a single Agile release train within one program increment, but a capability? That's a much larger, complex behavior that requires multiple Agile release trains to collaborate and work together to deliver. It's all about the massive scale of coordination.
All right, Section 3, TPMs and technical delivery, bridging the gap. There is a core philosophy you absolutely must project when interviewing for a technical project manager role. It's this: you don't necessarily have to be the one writing the code. Your real value comes from your deep understanding of the end-to-end software development lifecycle. You optimize the how so the engineers can focus entirely on the what. That's a real game-changer mindset. As a TPM, understanding that life cycle means truly mastering concepts like the CI/CD pipeline. CI/CD stands for Continuous Integration and Continuous Deployment. Basically, it's an automated system that tests and deploys code the second developers write it, which drastically reduces manual deployment errors.
To instantly prove you can translate complex technical workflows into plain, accessible language for your business stakeholders, use an automated assembly line analogy. CI/CD is honestly just like a toy factory. Every time a new toy, or new code is built, the assembly line automatically stress tests it for safety before putting it in a box to be shipped to stores. You're explaining automated QA testing and production deployment in a way literally anyone can grasp.
And speaking of quality, it's a subtle difference, but clearly distinguishing between quality assurance and quality control shows a deep, mature understanding of technical delivery. QA is proactive. It focuses on the processes used to build the product to actually prevent defects from happening in the first place. QC is reactive. It focuses on testing the final product to find the defects before they ever reach the customer.
Now we're getting to the fun stuff. Section 4. Surviving situational scenarios, the curveballs. You are almost guaranteed to face a classic conflict scenario like this. The engineers are practically begging to rewrite the codebase because of technical debt, but the business wants shiny new features right now. How you answer this reveals whether you're just a passive task taker or a truly strategic leader. You resolve this by stepping in as the ultimate translator. First, you explain the technical debt to the business using an analogy, like, hey, we can't build a third floor on a house with a cracked foundation. Then you tactically negotiate a capacity allocation. You dedicate, say, 20 to 30% of the sprint pipeline strictly to resolving those defects and reinforcing that foundation, while using the remaining capacity to deliver the requested business features. Bam! You give both sides a realistic path forward. Oh, here's another incredibly common curveball designed to test a Scrum Master's ability to protect the development team. A key stakeholder completely bypasses the agreed process and drops an urgent task right on a developer's desk. So what do? Do you let the developer get totally distracted, or do you start a screaming match with the stakeholder? Well, your objective here isn't to be a dictator. It's to be a diplomatic shield. You need to protect the team's sprint focus without totally alienating the stakeholder. So you intervene, you validate their urgency so they feel heard. I understand this is critical, but then you gently guide them back to the product owner for proper prioritization. You maintain the delivery predictability of the team. And finally, Section 5, the winning answer formula, your cheat code. The winning formula for these situational questions always combines 3 elements: acknowledging the problem with empathy or acting as a shield, citing the specific action and tool you used, and delivering the measurable business impact. If a team's velocity drops, you don't just say, oh, I fixed it. No way. You say you investigated without blame, you used Jira Agile boards for data-driven forecasting, and you increased velocity by 20%. By plugging your own real-world resume details into these placeholder tools and metrics, you instantly upgrade your answer from purely theoretical to battle-tested. Always identify root causes without blame. Always cite your specific tools like Miro or Jenkins. Always quantify your success with actual percentages. And as a golden rule of Agile leadership, seriously, never force your team to work overtime to compensate for a natural estimation error. Instead, use standardized workflows to make their lives easier. So you have the analogies, you have the structural templates, and you completely understand the theory behind these universal questions. The only question left is, how are you going to use them to absolutely dominate your next Agile interview? Think about your past experiences, map them directly to these frameworks, and go show them you are a master of the craft. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and good luck.